Hey men, we're about to talk about motherhood and child rearing. I realize not everyone shares our beliefs on these issues. If you don't have children or are not a mother, and you do watch this video, I encourage you to listen through to the end, where I have a message for you. Otherwise, stand by for the mother of all rants. Cue the intro. Alright, men. So, I'm all spun up. I'm real spun up. It's Mother's Day today. We don't do most holidays anyway, period. But I saw this article on, it was on the MSN homepage, I think yesterday or the day before. I don't remember when it was. I had to look real hard to find it. It's from some sort of website called Courts. I got it off of MSN. And it's written by Annalisa Morelli, and I was really spun up at first, and I was on the verge of declaring Annalisa Morelli an evil, despicable person. And as I reread the article a couple times, I started backing off of that a little bit. I think I see a heavy editorial hand in this thing that might not be Miss Morelli's. So she may just be talking about things through the fog and haze of the zeitgeist without realizing entirely how she comes across. But there is an evil person behind this somewhere. Let me say this, there is an evil behind this somewhere. The article, the title of this article, and it's the title that's evil. Or actually, it's the title and the timing that's evil. Being a mom in the U.S. is dangerous and wildly expensive. This is the Mother's Day article they decided to put up. If you read the article, its claims are some of its claims are actually correct. The article talks about the high cost of motherhood, really, and this has been going around for a while. I've seen these type of articles for years now. How motherhood is so expensive for women because it costs them lost wages, and they've come up with an economic formula where they can tell you what motherhood costs. Down to the day, the amount of time you spend out of the workforce being a mother, how much it costs you for your lifetime wages, as if earning wages is somehow the sum total of, I'm getting angry again, the sum total of your life. The totality of what you're supposed to accomplish in your life can be valued in money. It can be measured in money. We can put a value on what you should do with your life. You should earn X amount of money. The things we value, this green little worthless scrap of paper that we completely control and can inflate and deflate at will, this is how you should value your life. And this is what this is the opportunity cost for what you're doing. That drives me crazy. But I'll talk some of this for real quick, and then I'll go off on my rant so you people can tune me out before I get started on the rant. Big claims are, oh heck, I won't bore you with all of it. It just talks about how much money women lose being mothers. Well, here, I'll read you this one part. A 26-year-old mother making the American average salary for her age, who stops paid work for a year, will lose over $124,000 in earnings through her career. If the same mother leaves the workforce for 5 years or until the child is old enough to access public schooling options, her lost income is over $500,000, $500,000. Okay, so first off, I'm just going to call bullshit. I think last year I made $39,000 before child support and the government got a hold of it. 10 years I'd earned $400,000. So yeah, it's possible that you'd lose $500,000, $500,000, $500,000 over the course of a lifetime. But I have a hard time believing it's that likely. But how dare you value the next generation in terms of money? And I know, I sneer when I say money. I know we have to have money. We'll always have money. There'll always be some measure of value, some medium of exchange. It's not that it's the world's worst, most awful thing. But hey. I'm sorry, guys. But the reason we have a medium of exchange doesn't have to be money. But the reason why we have, what money represents, or the function it fulfills in the moment, is so that we can have children, so that we can have a family. I have a daughter who I love dearly, and she got mad at me one time because she doesn't share our beliefs, and she said, the only reason you value me is for the children I could produce. And I had to look at her and I said, baby, the only value I have as a man is how I can support you to have those children. Okay, the reason why I go to work is so that Mariah can be here to have those children. There's no other purpose in my life. I don't have a purpose other than that. If Mariah wasn't willing to stay here and raise children, I wouldn't have a reason to go to work. And in between my marriages, I didn't go to work. I did. I had to feed myself, but that was really the extent of it. I did what I had to do, what I thought I could, and that's the thing. I did what I thought I could. I had no idea what I could do because I didn't have a reason. When I got that reason again, suddenly, I got a goal and a vision, and I got back to work. But my point being is that the only reason to have a job, the only reason to leave the home, is so that there is a home to come back to. I leave the home so I can come back to the home. If I didn't have to go away to have this place, I wouldn't have a job off of here if I didn't have to. If my work has value, if it's somehow so crazily meaningful for me to have a job, it's only because Mariah's back here having children. And that's it. And if Mariah leaves here to go get this meaningful, self-empowering job, then I have no reason. The feminists can grab hold of that if they want and say that I'm, oppressing her somehow that way. But here's my question: what's her reason for leaving the home to go get a job? What then becomes the purpose of all this furious economic activity they want us to produce for them? Well, that's just it. They want us to produce for them. And it's socialism and all the evil behind socialism that looks at a mother and says, "Oh my gosh, you are untapped economic output I could have." The upper ups. They want women working to produce economic output for them. When a woman is at the home, she's building a legacy for her husband and herself, and that labor is lost to the elites, the upper ups, the muckety mucks, and that's why they are desperate to get women in the workplace, because all they see in their dirty, diseased little minds is this is resources we can then hoard. These people will go to work, they will produce, they will have nothing to invest that in, and then it is ours. We will get it. We will tax it. We will steal it. We will get them to spend it for cheap plastic junk. And to do this, they have to convince women not to be mothers. They have to convince women to go to work, and they do that a whole bunch of different ways. Some of them economic coercion. Some of it this sort of cultural elitism, this cultural coercion. But it is evil, and it was evil to put this out on Mother's Day. To put this out on the MSN homepage on right around Mother's Day. Not that there's anything special about Mother's Day, but the psychological impact that would have on women is very, very, very. Bleh, don't tell me they weren't thinking about that. I don't believe that this Miss Annalisa Morelli intended this story this way. My guess is that Miss Morelli probably deep down wants to be a mother, and she can't really. There's some cognitive dissonance going on with her, with these desires she doesn't have, these desires she has, and these aspirations she thinks she's supposed to aspire to. But whoever wrote this headline, and my guess is it's some sort of low-T soy boy who's trying to justify his selfish lifestyle. That whoever wrote this, being a mom in the U.S. is dangerous and wildly expensive. That guy's evil. So there's some things in there's claims in this article that are actually true, and I didn't read them yet. And it is this: more new mothers die in the U.S. than in any other rich country, several times over. And this is supposed to be a criticism of America, by the way, in the American system. And let me tell you, I don't doubt that at all. But it is not a criticism of America. It is a criticism of big government, socialism, because the reason why women new mothers die so much in America is because of our insanely twisted obstetrics, gynecology, newborn, whatever, you know, whatever it is, those they call those people. I'm spun up, and how the medical establishment handles birth and delivery, and that is a direct result of big government and government's involvement in healthcare. So yeah, that's probably right. I didn't look any farther than this article on that. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, we take pregnant, you know, women towards the end of their pregnancy. We give them a bunch of chemicals to jumpstart labor, and then when it doesn't go proceed naturally, which how could it? Because the woman wasn't ready to go into labor yet. We started unnaturally. What the hell makes us think it's going to proceed naturally? Then we jerk out the damn scalpel and we start slicing her open, and then, oh my God, yo, new mothers die at a higher rate. Well, no shit. That drives me nuts. Plus the damage we do to them with all the different birth control and abortion and all this stuff. There is a war on women. It is, trust me, it is not from the right-wing fanatics. It is from the left. The left are the ones trying to kill women. So this just chaps me to the end that they would take the logical conclusion of the system they built, the illogical conclusion. Everything that they are complaining about in this article is the result of liberals and liberal policy and socialism, and then they're going to take it and try to rub it in our face and tell us it makes us. It's an indicative of how evil and bad America is. No, this is European style socialism, big government nanny state. That's what's killing women. That's what makes motherhood so expensive. Right? That not traditional motherhood, not traditional gender roles, not all this stuff they complain about. It's liberalism. It's big government. It's socialism. It's the liberal elites and whatever they want to call themselves, humanists, feminists, dummiest, idiotists, that does this stuff. And then they use their own failures to justify giving them more power to try to fix the problems they created to begin with. It just drives me batty. I mean, lunatic, batty, want to strangle myself. And you know what? We keep falling for it. You know, we keep saying, oh, yeah, no, we better give them more power. They are the government. I'm a patriotic American, and by God, my government, right or wrong, but my government. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's been infiltrated, and it's been taken over, and it is no longer representative of us. It certainly no longer has our best interests at heart. I mean, look, what's the grand example of, you know, American values? What? Motherhood and apple pie, right? But look at these people. They don't want mothers. They don't want apple pie either. They want to destroy everything, and they want to try to feast off of the maggots that are festering on the corpse. You know, they don't care. You know, killing the goose that laid the golden egg. They're so far past that now. Now they just want the maggots off the corpse of the goose. And this is just one more sign of that. And Elisa Morelli, I'm sure, is just one more deceived individual in a nation filled with deceived individuals. But she needs to go sit down with her editor, whoever wrote that headline for her, and she needs to slap him in the face, or her. It could be her. I usually tend to believe men are evil men, Rasputins, you know, men who don't. Yeah, well, we won't go there. I love men. 99% of all men are like wonderful, glorious creatures. There's that 1% that's just evil scum that tears everything down. Usually because they can't compete with the glorious men. But there we go. I'm sorry this one got weird, men. There's all sorts of like non-weird stuff I'd love to do and talk about, but that was one I just felt like we had to deal with. Motherhood. The only reason going to get a job and economic activity is of any value at all is so that we can come home and raise a family and make a home. I should say, and I should probably have put this at the front of this video, I realize that there's lots of women who can't be mothers for a whole host of reasons that are not their fault. You know, they can't find suitable men. There may be natural things that have gone on. They may have believed the lies for so long, and now when they finally realize that they do want to be mothers, it's too late. There's a host of women throughout the Bible who seem to have struggled with fertility, who God loved these women, and they were great women of faith. So this isn't a cut and dry thing. Oh, you have an empty womb, you have an empty heart. I realize there's more to this than that, and that's an oversimplification, or maybe not an oversimplification, but there are exceptions and caveats to this thing. Just because you're not a mother doesn't mean you have no value as a woman. Just because you're not a father doesn't mean you have no value as a man. It does mean you have to find other ways to provide value, though. The basic way, the normative way, is that you're going to produce the next generation, train up the next generation, teach them what they need to know, and get them started before you die. You can still do that without having children of your own, but you have to be very deliberate about it. And many people who decide they don't want children are not contributing to that next generation. I know there are people who are. I know we hear from a lot of you. This is not a condemnation of you. This is a condemnation of a culture and society who makes it difficult and hard and tries to discourage raising children and fulfilling that basic function. Man, we appreciate you. Thank you.